So today marks officially 4 years since COVID was announced a pandemic. 2020 was absolutely a roller coaster, a crazy year for everybody, throughout the world, not just our country over here, but different countries were affected in different ways. The economy was affected, people's lives were affected. Unfortunately, there were a lot of lives that were lost due to COVID. A lot of people weren't um, basically strong enough to fight off the virus, unfortunately. And one of the great things about it is a lot of us were. I remember during this time, there was absolutely nobody on the freeways, the highways, the streets, nothing. I felt like I was an I Am Legend because I have one of those jobs where it wasn't affected really, like it was affected, but not as much as everybody else. So I was still working. Fortunately, I wasn't one of the people that was forced to be on lockdown or quarantine or whatever. Like, I was still going to work every day like normal. Like, for me, nothing really changed except the fact that, now I don't have to worry about traffic. If it was weird, like everybody was on lockdown talking about, they're getting annoyed from quarantine. They hate having to be in the house and they're getting bored, just stuck. And honestly, it really didn't even affect me. Like, I didn't experience quarantine like everybody else. I didn't experience it at all, actually. Those definitely were crazy times. A lot of classes were forced to be held online. A lot of students were forced to wear a mask when school eventually did come back physical, I guess I'll call it. And it was just crazy. We had to wear masks everywhere. I remember I was sanitizing everything. Like, as soon as I got in my car, I was sanitizing like the steering wheel. When I would pump gas, I was sanitizing. Like, I was washing my hands crazy. Like, I had the hand sanitizer on deck. I was, hey, just like everybody else, I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I never caught it before. At that time, I have caught it since then. I caught it last December, and thankfully, I was able to pull through. I had some minor symptoms, but it's not something that I would wish to go through again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't fun. Not to offend anybody who lost their lives or anything. Of course, I would never do anything to disrespect any of these people. But just for me personally, I don't think I had a terrible time with COVID as far as just the whole thing in general. Like I said, when I was affected, it wasn't too crazy. I was sick, but it wasn't too crazy. And also, the work thing didn't affect me as far as me not being able to go to work and different things like that. And like I said, I didn't have to quarantine. I think overall, the worst thing about COVID for me and my personal experience would have had to be just the unknown fear, the initial fear that a lot of people had in the beginning, just because we didn't know what was going on. And a lot of people they just didn't understand what this thing really was, including the doctors. You know what I'm saying? I think that was my biggest fear of COVID, just the fear itself, because we didn't know what was gonna come. We didn't know how the world was gonna look 6 months, a year from now, 2 years from now. We didn't think it was gonna be, or we didn't know if it was gonna return to normal like it did. But initially, it was looking grim. But for today's question, I just want you guys to name a COVID memory. Just whatever it is, whether it be you having to leave school, whether it be you having to stop going to work, or you catching it and your symptoms and stuff. Just share a memory related to it. And with that being said, it's been your boy Melees. I'm out.